What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with a CGC unboxing. I sent in 25 comic books to be pre-screened for a 9.8 grade. And good news, bad news on this batch. The bad news is that only 16 of the 25 books came back in a 9.8. The others were rejected. And when you get rejected, they charge an $8 rejection fee instead of charging you the grading fees. So I have heard from many YouTubers who are experts on this stuff that CGC has tightened up their grading, and it's true. Here's the first book. This is Moon Knight #1. This is from September of last year. This is the Gist variant cover. I love this cover. I absolutely love it. It's one of those great covers. This series that just came out has been known to have some pretty incredible covers, and this is one of them. This is the first comic book appearance of Dr. Badir, who's kind of a protagonist or antagonist to Moon Knight, and also the first cameo appearance of a new protagonist called Hunter's Moon, which I believe is actually Dr. Badir in the Hunter's Moon outfit. So I had two of these that came back. Here they are. So the bad news is, yes, they have gotten a lot tighter on the grading. The good news is that CGC has really cut down their turn times. These books were all pressed and they were logged into CGC's system on April 1st, and it is June 15th when these returned, so it only took 2.5 months. That is a decrease in turnaround time of roughly 50%. The last batch took about 5 months. This batch took 2.5 months. Note to AFA and to CAS on the action figure side of things. You may want to take some lessons from CGC. They have literally cut their turnaround times in half in less than 6 months. So kudos to CGC. Also kudos. Every single book came back flawless. All of the cases were in great shape. No cracks or scuffs or anything like that. Part of that is probably because there's only 16 books in the box instead of the full 25, so there's more padding and protection. I really think that CGC should go over to doing the boxes in batches of 20, so there's plenty of protection like this batch arrived in. But what an awesome book. I'm going to give one of these to my brother. My brother really likes Moon Knight as well, and so I'm going to give him a copy when I see him later this month. But just awesome books, and really happy to have that one. Next up, we have another book that you've already seen from previous CGC unboxings, but I did send in a few more just to round out the necessary 25 books that you need for a 9.8 pre-screen, and that is Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunters Alpha #1. This is the second printing. Great cover with Boba Fett kind of protecting Han Solo and Carbonite from those that are trying to take it away from him. And, you know, it's not a particularly valuable book, but I like the book. And this is the Steve McNiven cover. And I did get 3 of these back. I'm going to give all of these away to friends of the channel. Here's the next one. Just a great cover. But not a, you know, it just hasn't taken off. And, you know, it is what it is. But all comic books these days are kind of not doing great, and that's great if you're a buyer like me. I'm trying to add some more big books to my collection over the next 6 months because the comic book market is down. The action figure grader, at least right now, is still up. So buy low, sell high, right? But anyway, all 3 of these books I'm going to give away to friends of the channel, and all 3 of them look great. Next up, we have Moon Knight #3. This is from the same series as the Gist variant cover that you just saw for issue #1. This is the second printing, but this is one I've got in the first printing. I've got several copies of that. This is the second printing with more of a black and white motif and less color to it, but this is the first full appearance of Hunter's Moon, Dr. Badir as the antagonist Hunter's Moon. Look at those claws. I mean, it is just an awesome cover. So this is the second printing, as it's noted here. And I did get several copies of that. We got 1, we've got 2, and let's see, we also have 3. So I got a bunch of these. I got all of these from AnZComics on eBay. He's a great seller. I'll put a link to his eBay sales page in the video description. And then this is #4. Now, the funny thing is that the graders over at CGC must have forgotten that this was a 9.8 pre-screen. So they graded this one, and it only came back a 9.4. But the good news is they didn't charge me for it. They only charged me the rejection fee. So I guess having a 9.4 graded comic book is better than having a rejected raw comic book. So I'm going to give this one away on the channel as well, and I'm sure I'm going to give some of these away as well. But anyway, we'll see if Hunter's Moon ever does anything. There is also a Walmart variant that I really like a lot, and that has like a red color splash around the claws on the bottom third of the book, and it looks really nice. I've got one of those at the presser right now. But anyway, this is just the second print for Moon Knight #3 with the first full appearance of Hunter's Moon. Next up, we've got a book that I think is going to do really, really well long term, and it's still cheap right now. But I would recommend that you pick up one of the different printings for War of the Bounty Hunters, Jabba the Hutt #1. This is the second printing, kind of the design variant. And what's important about this book is that this is the first full appearance of Diva Lompop. She is kind of a weird punk-looking alien bounty hunter. And again, this is the second print where it kind of does the design variant. I feel like the design variants have become a little bit overkill. Everybody's doing them now. But look at her mouth. What a weird-looking mouth. Now, why do I think that this book's going to do well? Well, there is a one-shot coming out, like it's called Tales from Jabba's Palace or something like that. Don't quote me on the title of that. It's being written by Cavan Scott, who has done a number of the High Republic novels, as well as the writing for the High Republic Universe comics. And Diva Lompop apparently has a long lifespan, and she is around during the High Republic era. So I think that long-term we're going to see her in some sort of Disney Plus content. There's a first print with several cover variations. There's a 1:25 ratio variant, which I still have pre-ordered. Whether it shows up or not, we'll see. And then this is the second print. So I would pick up one of these while they're cheap. You can pick this up for 50 or 60 bucks, but there's a lot of rumors that Diva Lompop is going to have a pretty major role within the High Republic Universe Phase 2, which begins in October. The second volume of the High Republic comic series starts in October, and then also that one shot that takes place around the Jabba's Palace kind of universe. But I did get 3 of those, so very happy to have 3 of the second print for War of the Bounty Hunters, Jabba the Hutt #1, and the 1:25 ratio variant for the first printing is really expensive. It's been selling anywhere from about $200 to $325. So clearly the market knows something as it relates to Diva Lompop, and I think that she's going to have a big presence within the High Republic Phase 2 and into Disney Plus content over the next few years. So pick one of these up while they're still cheap. Next up, we have kind of an interesting one. This is Black Cat #1. This is the Mike Mayhew Studio.com edition. Pretty cool looking Black Cat from the Spidey universe, and this is kind of after she's been venomized, with the alien symbiote. And what's funny about this one is I didn't press this one at all. I just sent it in as is, and this was a free comic. It's part of a CGC 9.8 pre-order. Somebody, I can't remember who, I think it was MutantBeaverComics.com. They usually send you a free book, and this is one of them, and it was flawless. So I sent it in just to fill out the 25 book pre-screen requirement, and it did come back with the 9.8. I don't think I'll be keeping this one, but it is a great cover by Mike Mayhew, and just kind of a nice interpretation of Black Cat. Not a particularly expensive book, probably like $60 to $70 in a 9.8 grade, but really nice to get a free book and for it to come back in a 9.8 unpressed. Finally, to finish off this small batch back from CGC is Star Wars The High Republic Trail of Shadows issue #1. This is the main cover, the cover A. And this book is actually, while it's not the most attractive cover in my opinion, it's just the artwork just doesn't do it for me. This book has 5 first appearances in it. So I do think that while it's cheap, you might want to consider picking it up. This is the first full comic book appearance of Cian Holt, a detective. This is also, that's her right here. This is also the first full comic book appearance of Emmerich Captor, who is a Jedi. And they're kind of investigating some deaths. And I think that basically it relates to the Leveler, who is a big villain within, or a big monster villain within the High Republic universe that basically sucks the life out of Jedis during this time period. More importantly, there's also a small first appearance of Kefar Branto. I have no idea who that is, but more importantly, this is the first cameo appearance of Bel Zettifar and Indira Stokes. They are two Jedis that are two of the main characters within the High Republic universe. Both of their first full appearances are the High Republic Adventures Annual #1, which I've shown you on the channel. I've got 3 different versions of that book already in my collection, but I wanted to go ahead and pick this up because it's the first cameo appearance for 2 really important characters, and I think that long term we can expect Bel Zettifar and Indira Stokes to make it into live-action content or whatever content that Disney finally decides on. So I've got 2 of the cover A, and then I also have the variant edition cover, which is this one, kind of a different angle, and it's also Emmerich Kaptor and Cian Holt on the cover. I'm not in love with the cover. This is Ario Anandito cover variant, but I'm not a huge fan of the art style for these, but it is 5 first full appearances, and it just seems like it's a no-brainer to have these in my collection and to get them pressed and graded, given how expensive they are now, and I expect them to go up in value. Anyway, that's all I really had for this small unboxing from CGC. I hope you enjoyed looking at these books. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back soon.